You're listening to Rockland News, available on Apple, Spotify, and online at rocklandnews.com. Thanks for joining us today. Here are your hosts, Tom Osa and Mike Kluger.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Happy Martin Luther King Day.
Happy Snow Day!
Yes, for those of you that are digging out of the 2 inches of snow that permeated the region on Sunday.
Did you say 2 inches?
2 total inches.
It seemed like a lot more than 2 inches.
You should have seen the supermarket. It was literally everybody running after the toilet paper once again, like it was 2020. It was unbelievable.
I was at home. I had plenty of toilet paper. I had plenty of bread. I had plenty of eggs.
I was a lazy SOB yesterday. I woke up at 10 o'clock. My wife was actually at the store. I wasn't even there. But thank you, everybody, for joining us today on this episode of AM Rockland with Mike and Tom.
In the morning, we are talking about all the snow. Now, they may say 2 inches, but I know that it was a lot more than I had to shovel off of my driveway. So maybe in my little corner of West Haverstraw, we got like 1 million inches of snow.
How many did you get?
A lot.
Was it
like so much that it was up above the bottom of my car, and I drive a Subaru, which has a little higher ground clearance than a regular car.
Okay.
So it was a lot of snow. I had to shovel a bunch of times, and it still looked like I didn't shovel.
Yeah.
Now,
shoveling did happen.
That being said, if you didn't have to go anywhere, it's gorgeous looking out the window of the studio right
Winter
here.
Wonderland.
It's
man.
like it's just pretty. It's just pretty.
I was talking with Howard Phillips and George Holman yesterday, and we sent out that crazy video with the Anchorman and everything like that.
Because Tommy is Anchorman.
Yeah, definitely not. Like, that mustache does not become me, dude. It's like I had like this big burly like Wilford Brimley mustache on my face. Am I allowed to say that? Is there any copyright infringement?
I don't know, because I thought you were doing Will Ferrell doing Wilford Brimley.
Well, that was what we were aiming for.
Okay.
And if anybody recalls Anchorman, that's not the sort of mustache. He had like the 1970s look.
All right. Well, I would rather be Chad Smith than Will Ferrell.
Well, yeah. Well, we all would. I'm a drummer. I would love it.
Everybody except Will Ferrell.
Whatever gets me on the drums, I am there. So we first want to thank our sponsors for today. First of all, thank you very much to Yabu Fence Company. Yabu! Located in West Nyack, New York. They've been in business since 1965, handling all of your fencing needs, except for the ones where you have to use a
sword. Yeah.
But you can check them out at yabufence.com. Dana Pest Control, located in Tompkins Cove, New York, for all your pest control needs.
Not your family.
Not your family, exactly. Easy Temp for all your ice machine and refrigeration repairs. Let's say you're a deli and you need your ice machine repaired or your refrigeration stuff. Easy Temp can show up and help you with all those. They've been in business for many years. EasyTemp.net. Kobe Sushi, we love.
Kobe Sushi.
Yeah, they're just so amazing. And they have a jazz and music lounge, music on Wednesdays and Saturday nights every week. You can check them out at KobeNewCity.com.
And they're good at sponsoring parties.
Yeah. Susan Bova, Coldwell Banker Realty. Lauren Molino Muller, Howard Hanna Rand Realty. The two of them can get the party started for you right around here. First, you got to get a home. Once you get a home,
then you go to Kobe Sushi and listen to jazz.
It all works together.
Right.
Whole Shot Bagels, located in Haverstraw, New York. We love Whole Shot Bagels.
Great for your breakfast needs and lunch needs.
FZ Perfection Auto Body Repair in Congers, New York. If you got a ding, if you got any dents, anything that you got to get out of your car, if you just want to upgrade the look, maybe give it a nice paint job, FZPerfection.com.
Maybe you've had a little snow incident over the weekend.
If you were sliding into traffic poles, or if you were like
been assaulted,
if you accidentally, and don't do this, if you accidentally like drove yourself off of like an embankment, oops.
Are you speaking from experience?
No comment.
No
comment. People can figure it out.
I will
for
comment
themselves.
On your no.
All right.
Anyway.
Luckily, well, I can. After we get off through the sponsors, I could tell you a little story about that.
All right. Story that's coming up, listeners. Tell us more about our sponsors.
Clean Space Maintenance Management Company. That's cleanspacemmc.us. One day, I had my friend Tony D'Elia from Clean Space bring the back trailer thing, dropped it right into the front yard, and I moved all of the stuff that I didn't need, just dropped it right into the trailer, and he drove away. It's like $130, $140.
He lugged your junk?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's a different company.
Wow. Wow. Well, you broke a Tommy.
I mean, it was
That's
early,
record
too.
time. I have to tell you, you
It-
broke a Tommy very quickly.
It is record time. So, sponsors.
Rockland Music Fest Incorporated.
I don't think I know anything about those guys.
Yeah, they're incorporated and they do music
Fair
festivals in Rockland. And the New York Boulders baseball team.
Hey, I hear they're keeping the rock in Rockland.
They are. And we had Seth on our first inaugural show, the Sports Roundup, last Wednesday at 9:30 in the morning. We're going to have a sports roundup every week. Our guest this week is Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
No, not that Tom Brady. Another Tom Brady who lives in Rockland County. He has a sports coaching and performance company. And he's going to jump on and he's going to talk about things related to sports.
All right. I'm looking forward to hearing from it.
Yeah.
From it. And what else we got, Tommy?
Yeah, so that's basically it. You want me to tell you the story about the thing that happened? Not a snow embankment, but like I was driving.
Was it a Rockland County based story?
It is. Well, no, it was right outside of Rockland. It was it was across the river in Passaic.
Oh, it was in Jersey.
Yeah, it was No, wait, not Passaic. Pascack, Westchester, like that side.
Peekskill?
Further north.
Poughkeepsie?
Thank you. I was trying to.
So it's Hudson Valley. It's a Hudson Valley story.
Yeah.
Folks.
All right. So basically, I'm driving back from an event, and I was the director of the event. It was like 20, 25 people. It was like a week-long retreat. It's good people, and we got to know each other and everything. I'll leave it at that. I'm driving back, okay, after doing that, and I'm driving down a very steep hill, and the brakes go.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I'm driving.
Hold on. As a Gen Xer, we prepared for that by saying, can't stop. Got no brakes. Do you remember this? Do you remember this kid culture stuff?
I don't.
You'd go down and you would say that you can't stop because you got no brakes because you wanted to run into somebody.
I would probably do more like a
as
Red
a
Hot
punk.
Chili Peppers, like can't stop.
Yeah, that hadn't come out yet when this kid culture thing that I'm talking about. Anyway, you're an embankment down the hill.
No. And it's just that I didn't make the connection. But as you said, you're an 80s child. All right. I'm like on the cusp of
It's
80s,
true.
90s.
It's true.
So it's, we might have missed that one by a few years. And
Fair
I
enough.
apologize.
Fair enough.
So I'm driving, right? I feel like you should tell a story after this. So I'm driving.
Yeah.
And the brakes go. And I'm going down. It's got to be at least like a 5-degree incline or whatever. And I just stopped and I just looked up at the ceiling. It was like, really, God? Because apparently God is in the ceiling.
He's always in the ceiling.
Yeah.
I think he's everywhere, but
I'm like, right now? I'm like, okay, fine. And there was.
But did you die? Did you die?
Well, that depends on if you see me in front of you right now.
Hold on. I didn't ask if you were resurrected. I asked if you died.
I don't do that. Listen, when I'm gone, I'm gone. I'm out. Y'all can handle things on your own.
I mean, according to George Carlin, he only looked dead.
Yeah. Well, he's probably very tired from all the touring.
He was drinking. He just looked dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Most indeed. Anyway, luckily, the end of the story is I got out of it alive, thank God, and was able to get back here for the morning show today.
You thanked him right up to the ceiling.
Yes, I was like, "Thank you, ceiling, God,
thank you, the God of the ceilings,
entity, rock on." Yeah.
All right. So what's going on in Rockland?
Well, today
other than snow.
Well, it's Martin Luther King Day, amigo.
It is, and I wonder if Martin Luther King ever came through Rockland.
He did.
He did.
Well, his father did. I was looking this up last night. Give me a moment. We were going to do a little thing about
I know that Rockland County has a rich history of lots of famous folk, both being born and raised and living here and coming to visit. There are sites all over Rockland, and I encourage our listeners to go and explore the history of Rockland County because it is really interesting, and we have a very long history. The town of Hafthastra itself was founded in 1616.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the oldest towns in the country.
Pretty much, yeah.
So
I did find that while there's no records of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. himself visiting Rockland County, his son, and I remember this, Martin Luther King III, made a significant visit in February 2024 to speak at the Rockland County Human and Civil Rights Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
So quite recently.
Yeah, 2024. Ed Day was there. Commissioner Spencer Chimway honored Martin Luther King III. And now, but before that, in the 1960s, because I was researching about this, and there was specifically a visit by the father back in the 1950s or 60s, and it actually, his visit and the talk that he did here apparently had influence on further cases that went through the Supreme Court. Yes.
I am familiar that there is a Martin Luther King Center, but I don't know exactly what they do.
Yeah, it's located. Also, we did our research last night, and the Martin Luther King Center is in Spring Valley, New York. I reached out to one of the directors. Short timing, apologies, but we're not going to be able to have him on the show today. But mlkmpc.org. Right on the front, it says, whenever you set out to build a temple, all labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence. And that was by Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He said that.
Well, I appreciate his words, just like the great Gandhi and the big man Jesus himself, nonviolent revolutionary.
Dig it, yeah. And that's the thing that ties all of these individuals that went through history with us is nonviolence, peaceful. You know, if you got to protest, but do it as civilly as possible. And that's one of the things, you know, obviously, you know, Mike and I, and thank you everybody for listening today. Mike and I, you know, we come from different backgrounds and we look at things, you know, differently, but we're able to discuss them. I like to think of it like Curtis and Kubi. We both have an agreement that everybody at the Four Corners protests that happen in Nanuet should be protected from traffic incursions or any sort of like, you know, it's like, you know, we have the right to protest.
Well, and beyond the protesting, we have a busy Four Corners. It is the busiest Four Corners in Rockland County, and it should be safer for all people to walk. We should encourage pedestrianism in Rockland County, or at least get to the park and walk around.
Absolutely.
Maybe not today because it's covered in snow, unless you're into that kind of thing.
I'll tell you what's going to help get the ability for people to walk around in that area and get to the park and get to the train station and get to the shops a lot easier.
What's that?
$1.5 million.
And where did that $1.5 million come from?
Clarkstown. So they got a grant to be able to.
New York State or federal?
This one was state, and there's a federal grant for $335,000 as well to study the traffic patterns in the area. Yeah, so not bad. I think that's going to help.
So you introduced me to a term. We were talking about the Palisades Mall closing and also the changes that are going on in the shops at Nanuet. Well, that was
transit-oriented development.
Transit-oriented development, listeners. Transit-oriented development is where you are trying to put all of the needs of the citizens in one area. Mm-hmm. You live there, you eat there, you work there, you traverse it, and you don't have to either leave your area, or it's very easy for you to leave the area you're in, go into the city and work, is my gathering.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's I have a colleague that lives in New York City. He's a commercial real estate broker. His name is Francisco Miranda. Really nice guy. I know him for like 7 or 8 years now. We built a website for him at workliveinvest.com. He's got a great article on there. The future is integrated. Live, work, play is reshaping the housing market. I'll just read off like the first paragraph. In cities and suburbs across the U.S., a powerful new trend, Mike.
Powerful? Oh, is Rockland trying to grab some power?
I apparently it's just showing up on its own.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Redefining what it means to feel at home, live, work, play communities, like what the Nanuet Town Center is doing, I think. These dynamic mixed-use spaces are transforming how we live, build connections, and invest in the future. So you bring in housing, jobs, dining, entertainment, which we're fans of.
Yep.
By the way, Kobe Sushi has music on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. Just like it's convenient, I guess.
Okay.
So
if you are into that lifestyle of, you don't want to have to shovel your snow, you don't want to have to mow the lawn, you don't want to keep up with the Joneses in that respect.
right.
You go get yourself a nice apartment by a train station, by the bus station, however it is.
Yeah.
In places where all of the shops are at your toe steps, fingertips, toe steps. I don't know.
Both. You could use your toes and your fingers to get to like the Apple store and whatnot.
Well, you could probably get everything like DoorDashed.
Yeah, if you want to pay that.
I mean, if you
as
want
we say
convenience,
in Italian, the vig.
If you want convenience, you got to pay for convenience.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Right.
And that brings up an interesting point, especially in these economically hard times. The idea of the trade-off of convenience for capital.
Right.
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 And I mean, and obviously I want to be, respectful. We're protesting about different things and stuff like that. But we are first world, and we live in a very convenient
we have a very
area.
Wealthy nation. That is true.
Right.
Because even our poor people and starving people eat better than some of other folks around the world.
Yeah. Like you don't see like DoorDash in the Serengeti.
I mean, they don't have that many cars in the Serengeti.
No, but so we could hop a lion.
They don't have phones.
Oh, that's what you want?
I
want some meat.
That's how you get lions.
What? Did you imagine like the caveman times? It's like, they're eating bushes. It's like and somebody just says, hey, why don't we try some meat?
I mean,
and he's like, all right, well, how do we go about it? He's like, all right, you see that lion over there? All right, you're gonna like go up behind him with like a spear and just like get him, and then we'll have that for dinner. So he goes up behind the lion. The lion goes, what's he doing now? The caveman. Well, he's eating bushes is what he's doing. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't tell a joke for my life. But the point is that work, live, play.
Work, live, play. Back to what did you call it? Transition? No,
transit-oriented
development, listeners.
Yeah. So there is that. And, it's a trend that does happen, in my opinion, across the United States over the course of time. I think the key to it is making sure that it's funded from up top.
And by funded, you're talking about through taxpayer or through commercial means?
Well, we're all paying for it out of our tax dollars, but using it so that, for instance, in Rockland, the workforce is properly housed, 1. 2, they're able to travel to the locations where they need to get transit-oriented development.
Fair.
And that means that there has to be, and again, this is not my place. This is like, for instance, George Holman and government
supervisor level.
Yeah. And we have the show on Tuesdays at 3:00. It's called Government Matters. We'll have a supervisor on each week, and also county.
Who's on tomorrow?
Amy Conklin-Stam from.
Oh, my old classmate.
Yeah. She's going to be on at 3:00 in the afternoon.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, tell Amy I said hello since I'm not on that show.
Absolutely. Well, we always have a good time. Hopefully, I try to not make Amy laugh, and I know that's a tough chore because I make everybody laugh. Long silence. Crickets. But yeah, anyway. But we're going to talk about local Stony Point thing.
Okay.
I
will be interested on your report on our zany Wednesday morning show about what you talked about with Amy Conklin-Stam.
Exactly. So, and bottom line, transit-oriented development is more a thing for our local elected officials to really tackle and advocate for funding so that people can get from Nanuet to Hoboken to New York City and everywhere in between.
Fair enough. Or upstate, because that train line also goes upstate.
It does. Bergen-Passaic line.
All right. To my other fellow New Yorkers, it is not upstate. It is the Catskill region.
Dig it. So we talked about the snowstorm. talked about the history of Martin Luther King Day.
Speaking of history,
Yeah.
did you know that there was a huge ice industry on Rockland Lake back like 100 years ago?
I did not know that.
So, Rockland Lake used to have all of these ice houses and these devices and industries that would ship blocks of ice via barge down to Manhattan.
Mhm.
Now, this coming weekend, there is an event called the Knickerbocker Ice Festival. It is not a new thing, but it is returning. My old friend Tim Engelhart, he is I want to call him a historic carpenter. One of the things he does is he goes and researches the old ways that were being done,
Mhm.
notates them, educates people. He's done some film, and he builds these Knickerbocker benches.
All
And
right.
it's usually with, he goes to the location, finds the tree, fells the tree, and builds the bench from the tree in the location where it's being built. So it's this incredibly like homegrown bench, and it's usually sit in a place that is has a view.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's an incredibly labor intensive, but
I'll bet. Yeah. I mean,
But
that's got to be a few days of work by itself.
maybe even weeks. He has this whole portable sawmill and all that kind of thing. But it's a really cool look at history, and the old Knickerbocker Ice Festivals were really it was a really cool Rockland gathering thing, because when we talk about that rich history of Rockland,
Mhm.
this is part of that. We've had so many industries come and go from Rockland, not because the industry wanted to leave so much. Technology changes, right?
Yeah. And the market
Right.
changed.
Haverstraw used to be the brick making capital of the
You
world.
read my mind. That's
Right.
exactly where I was going.
We don't use red brick like that anymore.
Now, I got the opportunity, and this is through Rockland County Economic Development. They do, I think it was partially the RBA as well, I think. So we visited the Haverstraw Brick Museum. That's right by Lucas Candies.
Which is the oldest candy store in New York State.
Yeah, totally. And quite frankly, there's some technologies that I didn't even know existed. One of the new and emerging technologies is to rethink how brick is created. And it's hard to explain this while we're on a live stream without video, and we're not
And
switching
without
to
a
that.
scientist.
Yeah, but if you imagine this, like how DNA is like it's got that spiral look
Yes.
to it, like
Yes.
that's basically the way the molecules for a new style of brick is created, and apparently it's
Are they GMOing brick?
kind of, yeah,
That's weird.
it's amazing. And
I've heard they're making brick out of really interesting material,
yeah,
like
brick.
hemp.
Well, there's hemp too, yeah. Well, that's part of it. So what happens is, and chemistry is not my strong suit. I should say that from
What
the
about
get-go.
cannabis? I heard you know about cannabis.
I don't know anything about cannabis. All right. But it seems like, you put these molecules together and they're like, hey, what's going on? Let's get stronger. And it's a lot more sustainable for commercial and residential development.
Hmm.
And here's the kicker: less costly and more efficient, and safer.
So I have a question.
Whoa.
Is anyone in Rockland doing that?
No. According to
Okay.
the Haverstraw Brick Museum, it's not something that's in a lot of buildings around here. Now, one of the reasons for that is that we've kind of relied on some infrastructure that's been there for quite some time. But it seems like the technology is changing, where your mainstream builders are embracing the new technology from
Okay.
brick making.
Okay.
So you imagine like your steel industry and your wood and everything like that, but brick is back in the mix. No pun intended.
I was going to say that's a good pun.
Yeah.
I like that pun. You
Brick
should
is-
have intended that one.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. But in all seriousness, I didn't know about with the ice making. Is it 100 years ago? Was it?
You know what, Tom?
Yeah.
We should go to the Knickerbocker Ice Festival this weekend at Rockland Lake
Yeah, January
and go
24th.
check it out.
24th and 25th for the grand return of the Knickerbocker Ice Festival.
Go say hello to my friend Tim,
Mhm.
and he can give you a whole history lesson on ice houses and the ice industry of yore back in the days of New York City.
Yeah. To learn more, please visit rocklandsbusiness.org and go over to the events calendar, and you'll be able to learn more about the Ice Festival. We're also going to have a link to that in the morning show roundup on rocklandsnews.com.
Now, folks, before you go to leave to any event, please practice better hygiene. There's a measles outbreak.
That's a bad thing. Yeah, we don't want that.
So, part of the issues that we have as citizens is that we forget that we have other citizens
Mm-hmm.
that you also have to be mindful of. So, take care of yourself, your personal space, your cleanliness, and please keep your germs to yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some unfortunate news items that we have to talk about. And I think, Mike, that you brought up measles, because I never want to be like, okay, this is the ice festival. And then bad stuff, bad stuff, bad stuff.
Well, this is reminding you
Right.
that you need to be cautious when you go out in events. We want you to be outside. We want you to go to events. Be mindful if you are feeling under the weather.
Yeah.
That you should take care of your body and make sure you do not pass your germs on to somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I have to report this. So, it's kind of, it's awkward, but it's something that
I mean,
certainly,
you're always awkward.
well, thanks.
Socially.
Oh, put a knife through my heart, my man. There you
mean,
go. I am socially awkward, I know.
I'm only calling a spade a spade.
And the cold winds of the last 2 inches of snow
Hold on,
that
wait.
fell on Sunday have permeated into the studio today, ladies and gentlemen.
And to add to my cliche sayings today,
I'm not mad.
the teapot is calling the kettle black.
I would say that the teapot is calling the kettle a kettle. All right, let's get to this unfortunate news that's completely like ew, but we got to talk about it. It's pretty horrible. In New City, New York, a 20-year-old suffering man has been sentenced to 14 years in state prison following his convictions in the sexual assault of an 11-year-old girl, according to the Rockland County District Attorney's Office. Wilmer Loha Aroka was sentenced in Rockland County Court by Judge David M. Asher after pleading guilty to 1 count of first-degree rape. As part of the sentence, Aroka will be required to register as a sex offender. Mike, you and I talked about this off the air about the sex offender registry.
Well, and that and any other type of thing that there are resources everywhere, and I don't think our listeners and citizens know where to go find a lot of the information. So, where does one find the sex offender registry? So, if our listeners and citizens are concerned about what's going on in their local area, they can go check.
Yeah, and just so you know, there is the New York State official sex offender registry. That's criminaljustice.ny.gov. You can check that out there. Now, and it's unrelated, but it's the same unfortunate topic. Is a man in Tompkins Cove was just arrested on Friday, I believe, on charges of having child pornography on his hard drive. And it was done, and the article is on Rockland's News about this. But let me just bring this up. Tompkins Cove, there was several different task forces involved. The Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, as well as the Cyber Tip Line report from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And authorities did emphasize that an indictment is merely an accusation and the suspect is presumed innocent until proven guilty. According to District Attorney Walsh, my office, quote, "My office, working alongside our law enforcement partners, will continue to aggressively pursue anyone who exploits children," said District Attorney Walsh. She's proud of the teamwork behind this investigation and our shared commitment to protecting our children and our country.
Excellent.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we're just going to, we've reported. We're moving into the next thing.
Let's go back to some brighter spots in Rockland. Do we have more brighter spots in Rockland?
Well, there's something that you brought up that I didn't even realize happened last year. Apparently, not only me, but our Rockland's news team, nudge, nudge, did not pick up on this. Rockland County wins the legal fight over local election control.
Tell us about that.
All right. So this is more just kind of giving you some backstory to this. So there's been a push in states and national to put all of the elections on even numbered years.
Why?
Well, here's the rationale from the state and the Fed in some cases is that it actually creates more civic engagement where more people are going to show up at the elections. And it's like, okay, I'm going to vote for the president and the government. And oh, by the way, I'm going to vote for the village mayor while I'm here.
So they're trying to consolidate the voting day?
Correct. So in other words, let's say, for instance, and I'll use Highland Falls as an example. There was the election last year in 2025 to get rid of the mayor that was in there for like 30 some odd years that got clipped on misdemeanor charges.
Okay.
Got a new mayor there. That happened in 2025.
Okay.
Now, with this
but that
rule,
was a special election because they needed a new mayor.
But this piece that you identified happened afterwards. Rockland County has successfully defended its right to hold local elections in odd numbered years if they choose to.
Because we want to focus. If we want to focus on our local politics, why should we be overburdened and overwhelmed with national politics at the same time?
Yeah, and it's a good question. I think it's a money-saving effort, maybe. It could be to get more civic engagement, and I think it's at this point based on studies that people are going to show up more often if they're, everything's all in one. I don't know.
I suspect our listeners and citizens will become overburdened and overwhelmed with too many choices at too little amount of time, and you will have less engagement.
Yeah, and to me, it also depends on how many people are at the polls when they're going to do this. For instance, let's say I go, you vote, I vote.
Right.
We go over to, my voting place is up at Patriot Hills over here. They got
mine's over at the Havistar Community Center.
Yeah. And if there's 10 people online, we're going to wait for 10, 15 minutes or whatever. What if there's 100 people online?
What if there's 100 names you have to go through on your voting ballot? It will take you longer to vote.
Exactly.
That's not to say that we shouldn't do more voting. And actually, that's kind of what I'm encouraging is voting in smaller pieces.
Right.
We want smaller packages. We already have poor attention spans. Yeah. Give us less to do at once and more time to do it.
Yep.
Truthfully, I think that Election Day should be a mandatory federal holiday, and we should be mandated to go vote on that day.
I do not disagree, sir. I do not disagree.
So I don't think that's going to happen because that requires, everyone to agree on something. And
no, that's not. I disagree with that.
Our government can't seem to agree on anything.
Oh, Maron.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
going back to our beloved Rockland County.
County Executive Ed Day and County Attorney Thomas Humbach. Thomas Humbach. It just sounds like a great name for a lawyer, like Humbach.
What did Ed Day do?
Celebrated the court's ruling so now the Rockland County has local election control. All right. And they can do it in odd numbered years. So they don't have to do it in 2026. They could do it in 2027 if they're up for election there.
Now, listeners and citizens. Part of the thing that is a success for Rockland is that the more we defend our right to govern ourselves, the more of a voice we have in your locality.
Absolutely.
We may not have a voice on the national level, but we have a voice in Rockland. There are voices in Rockland who want to speak to you, speak for you, speak to the politicians, and give them your concerns. So please reach out to us, call us, email us at
News at rocklandsnews.com. You can also go to rocklandsnews.com/alert to let us know about a story or something that you have interest in having us talk on the air, or maybe just do an investigative journalism piece. Like, for instance, when we did the Rockland Community College, when they were in the hole anywhere from $5 to $12 million. When the shops at Nanuet got sold and became the Nanuet Town Center.
Hold on. Something as simple as defending your First Amendment right and making sure that we are understanding that the Four Corners needs guardrails.
That's right. And by the way, where is Assemblyman Patrick Carroll?
Please ask Patrick Carroll why we do not have guardrails, citizens.
That's
email. That is what Supervisor Torres Holman said would be the most help in us being good citizens and helping ourselves to get the safety features we want.
And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking tabs on how many bills got passed by our elected officials up in Albany over the last year or so. And at some point, I'm guessing, because we got the elections coming up this year, we're probably going to put out how effective was each individual. So that would be like, for instance, State Senator Bill Weber, District 38,
who is now in competition with Nyack Mayor Joe Rand.
Joe Rand, exactly. He's running for Senate 38th District. Assemblyman Patrick Carroll. And Senator Pete Harcum, who just held a meeting over at the Tompkins Cove Library on Saturday.
Okay.
And I was unfortunately not there.
Okay.
I did want to be there, but I was shoveling snow.
As many of us were.
Yeah. So, and we'll look to get a press release from Senator Harcum to identify how the meeting went and publish that at
Maybe you can ask Amy Stam. She was probably there.
That's That's a good question. We can ask her tomorrow about that.
All right.
She's going to be on the news show at 3:00 tomorrow. Government Matters with Rockland's News.
Brandy New, first female town supervisor of Stony Point, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Congratulations. She held her first town board meeting last Tuesday and went over a bunch of things. Notably, they now have a YouTube live stream.
Look at that. Amy Stam bringing Stony Point right into the future.
Yes, exactly. So I'm pretty psyched about that. And, I was at my friend, I should congratulate my colleague, John Sandak, who was recently elected to the board of councilman of Tuxedo, the village of Tuxedo, or the town of Tuxedo. That's in Orange County. Okay. And
a little bit out of our jurisdiction, but it's our neighbor.
Yeah, but we went to the meeting because, he's our friend. We know him for years and years, right? And me and my friend Keith, we sat down, and it was a very active town meeting. I'd say there was about maybe 20 people there, give or take. And then to the right-hand side, there was a huge.
How huge?
I'm talking about bigger than the snowstorm huge.
The snowstorm was pretty big.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally.
And a huge what?
There was at least 40 or 50 people on the Zoom listening in on the town board meeting.
So,
which I was very impressed. I was very impressed.
All right.
They run it right. And, we're looking forward to, because we could check in on that. And we can report on things that happen outside of Rockland County in our state tab on rocklandnews.com.
And again, this to circle back, citizens, listeners, we want to be your voice. We want to speak the questions. We want to get the changes and the safety features and the prosperity back into Rockland.
Absolutely.
Not that it's gone, but we would like to make ourselves happy.
Yeah.
That whole pursuit of happiness, that whole what was it? Work, live, play.
Work, live, play. Yeah.
Right. So help us by giving us your concerns so we can take it to the politicians, because at the local level, we can actually make changes.
Definitely. I think we should conclude with the weather. What do you think?
Snow. It's cold. There's snow.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got? What else you got? Because all I'm seeing is winter wonderland, and the sun is shining now, so it's a little snowblind.
Yeah. So today is going to be 33-degree high, and it's apparently going to be sunny out. I don't see that at the moment, but
There's a little reflection off the snow over there.
all right. Tomorrow is going to be 23-degree high.
Cold. Stay
Yep.
inside.
Also
Wear
sunny.
extra scarves, extra jackets. And was it Bill Weber who did the coat drive?
He did. Record amount of coats. Let me go look that up.
So, listeners, if you are in a place of scarcity or know somebody in a place of scarcity, please direct them to, where do we direct them to go find one of these
The winter coat drive.
winter coats?
Well, definitely it's in conjunction with the Ramapo Catskill Library System.
Okay.
There is on Senator Weber's website, there is a flyer for the winter coat drive. Donations are already done. They were accepted from November 1st to December 15th. But according to the website, he mentioned, and there must have been like about 30 different places where you could drop off 2,800 pounds in coats.
So
That's amazing.
If you are someone who actually needs the coat, where do you go?
Well, that is a great question. And I don't have that in front of me, but my guess is that it gets distributed to several different entities. Oh, actually, I found it. Here we go. Great question, Mike. So here's the following organizations where the beneficiaries for the coats were: Helping Hands, Homes for Heroes, Conbit Neg Lakai, which is located in Spring Valley, New York. That's my
Okay.
friend Renald Julian over there. Kapath Ezra, hope I'm saying that correctly. The Martin Luther King Multi-Purpose Center.
Martin Luther King Day, it all ties together.
The Nyack Homeless Project. I know them well. We actually used to do we did one winter, we did work, my friend Stephanie and I, we did work for the Nyack Homeless Project, gathering clothing and such.
So
NyackHP.org, I think is the name for that.
There's a long list, as you can see. So if you know anyone, see folks, please be kind and direct them. There are a lot of folks who are struggling and suffering. It is better for us to all rally together, be nonviolent when we are trying to be revolutionaries.
Revolutionary.
I mean, it would be nice if we had safety rails.
Revolution. No.
No, in all seriousness, folks, let's take care of our neighbors and our fellow citizens. If you see someone suffering, there are lots and lots and lots of resources all over Rockland. If you don't know how to find something, please reach out to us. We will go find the answer for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And there's a great parable about it. Like, a dude's walking along and there's some guy that's like, he's gotten beaten up and robbed and everything. And he just like walks right past him. Right. And then the next guy, like, he's the one that's like rushing around trying to get things done and stuff. And then he sees this guy on the road. He stops from everything else he's doing. He stops and he helps that dude. So yeah, if you get the opportunity, it's just a moment like of decision. And what's great is that you still get the time to do the other stuff. Might be a little more stressful, but the give back is the good love in between, that you are taking care of your fellow human being.
And the more we take care of one another in Rockland County, the stronger we will become.
Amen to that.
As a society, as a community, when the dark times come, and it does feel like they're coming, we really need to rally together.
Yeah, totally. And I think we'll end with this and the Dr. Martin Luther King Day celebration for this year with the, and again, the website is mlkmpc.org. You can take a look at the event. It's going to be over at Ramapo High School today at 4:00, 400 Viola Road in Spring Valley. And you can learn more at mlkmpc.org. And I think what we'll do is we'll end with the quote from Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is, whenever you set out to build a temple, all labor that uplifts humanity has dignity and importance and should be undertaken with painstaking excellence.
And folks, thank you for listening. And have a good day. Be kind to one another. Stay warm. Wash your hands.
and be well.
You're listening to Rockland News, available on Apple, Spotify, and online at rocklandnews.com. Thanks for joining us today. Here are your hosts, Tom Osa and Mike Kluger.
And we're just going to end with thanking our sponsors as always. Yabu Fence Company, located in West Nyack, New York. Dana Pest Control, Easy Temp for all your ice machine repairs. Kobe Sushi with their jazz music lounge, music on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. Susan Bover from Coldwell Banker Realty. Lauren Molino Muller from Howard Hanna Rand Realty. Whole Shot Bagels in Haverstraw, New York. 99 Signs, a business without a sign.
It's a sign of no business.
And you can check them out at 99signs.com. FC Perfection Auto Body Repair, Clean Space Maintenance Management Company, Rockland Music Fest Incorporated, and the New York Boulders baseball team. Stay tuned. We're going to be back at 4 o'clock today. Talk to you soon.